Installing panel gasket is one of the more skillful processes when working with 80/20 product line. So today I'm going to share a few tips and tricks with you. We recommend using panel gasket to reduce the vibration between the panel and the frame. Some of the essential tools when working with panel gasket and installing panel gasket are a utility knife. We use the utility knife not only to cut the panel gasket, but we also use the blunt end of the utility knife to help seat the gasket between the extrusion and the panel. We use Armor All. Armor All on the panel gasket aids in getting the gasket to go between the panel and the extrusion. If you have the luxury of having blade cutters available, that's what we use here at 80/20. They make nice sharp cuts and clean up the lines quite a bit. The first thing you want to do when installing panel gasket is to peel the protective film of the panel back 2 inches off all edges and fold them back upon themselves to hold them back so that they don't get stuck in the T-slot. And the reason that we leave the majority of the film on is so that the panel does not get damaged during assembly or installation. As you can see, we've already installed our panel and we're ready to begin installing the rubber panel gasket. The first thing you want to do is take your panel gasket and cut it back 45 degrees on both top and bottom, forming a point in the end. Insert that into the beginning of the panel. Loosely go to the end of your run here and add about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch panel gasket and cut it off to allow for expansion and contraction of the material. Insert that into the other end. Then what you're going to do, now that you have it inserted in one end and the other, you want to find the middle, tuck it in. Now you're left with 2 other sides. Find the middle of those and tuck those in. This is a good time to point out that if you're having a little more issue with getting the panel gasket to insert into the T-slot, this is where using your Armor All on a rag will come in very handy. Once you've worked all of your panel gasket in, take the blunt end of your utility knife and push gently along the panel gasket to seed the panel gasket in, and then continue on at the next corner. Now, the reason that we cut these back at these angles is because as we insert them into the corner, they do a better job of seating against one another, and that just makes a better looking corner in the end. Again, we want to loosely run this along to the end, adding another 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch for expansion and contraction. Cutting at 45 degrees at the end, putting an end at the end. Again, we're going to find the center, start there, and then continue to find the centers until we have the entire stretch of panel gasket inserted. Here's where the utility knife is going to be used again. Using the blunt end of the utility knife, we are going to run it along that edge, which will seat the panel gasket in the T-slot. Now that we've got all our panel gasket installed, you can see no more vibration, and this will protect your investment for the long haul.